We are the Screen Team, and we are doing traveling films for this go-around of the show. And we've already done Road to Morocco, and next up is European Vacation, National Lampoon's European Vacation. Of course, they went to Wally World in California for the first one, and this go-around they decide, let's go to Europe. But it kind of starts out funny because we see the Griswolds, goofy and lovable as ever, but they're on a like one of those quiz shows, right?
Pig in the Poke. and John Astin is the MC.
That's right, he is.
And if you want to see somebody who would not last, considering the news over the past year, John Astin would be fried.
Well, it's funny because he was playing on, who's the guy who...
Richard Dawson.
Thank you. He was playing Richard Dawson.
Yeah, he was, because Richard Dawson kissed all the women, except John Astin took it a couple of steps just too far.
Yes, he did.
But it was funny, and it was a good way to start it out, and the fact that they win in an accidentally, and I'm not going to give that one away,
Sure.
but the fact that they win based on a technicality and just that's the way it goes.
Yeah. So they won a big European vacation, and they got to see several different great spots in Europe, and I think we visited France.
England first, then France, and then Italy. Oh, Germany
too.
Then Italy.
Right.
I'm sorry. And the German one was one that they chose because they thought they were seeing family, and there was a big mistake. But what you have to think about is when you watch this film is Clark Griswold is probably everything you don't want an American to be when he's visiting your country.
Yeah.
There was an old film called The Ugly American. Clark Griswold is the ugly American in a slapstick kind of way.
Right.
And he really, to say it unkindly, he made a fool of himself in a lot of ways.
Didn't they also visit Stonehenge?
They visited Stonehenge, and it would never be the same after their visit.
That's right.
And it's slapstick, and I think it's a good follow-up to Road to Morocco because that's the whole thing. Vaudeville was based on slapstick, and some people don't know that slapstick started with there really was a stick that they used and they would slap people with, and it was called slapstick.
I did not know that.
Well, Clark Griswold is following up in the tradition of slapstick comedy with this one. But there's a lot of things that start at the beginning, and you have a scene with Clark and his wife, which is a very loving scene, and this very loving scene ends up in a film in Italy.
He was ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Yes,
with those,
he was.
with those tapes.
It was purely accidental, and like most husbands, I'm sorry, Chris, he said, "Did you erase that, Clark?" "Sure, I did."
I got right on that.
Well, guess what? He didn't erase it. So anyway, it goes there. But again, it's slapstick. It has the chase scenes. It's where people are, running down the boulevard trying to catch the guy who stole my money, and the guy who took the video camera, by the way, not the cell phone, the video camera. So that may date it a little bit, and we're talking camera was this size, folks. Not the cell
I remember
phone.
those. I remember
and
those.
when Chris and I won't talk about how good I am at taking videos with my camera. But old story, folks, it took me 3 tries or 5.
Hey, you did a great job. You did a great job. I appreciate that. One of your favorite actors in this film is Eric Idle. Is that right?
I like Eric Idle, and it's Monty Python, and it's pure Monty Python. Those of you who are Monty Python fans, there's a lot of physical humor in those
Sure.
as well. And the physical humor goes even to the point of dismemberment, blood spurting. And Eric Idle is the quintessential polite Brit, and Griswold hits him with the car, and there's blood spurting out of the leg, and Eric Idle is saying, "Oh, so sorry, chap, I got in your way." So,
he's like, "Want me to take you to the hospital?" No, I can make it. I'll be all right.
It's just scrape. Blood going spurting. And there we go. But it's a fun film, and I really enjoyed the film because I just think that it takes you through and it shows you exactly how not to behave rather than and you laugh at the point of the silliness of mixing up a family, so to speak, and falling into fountains. And one of my favorite things in Italy, though, is that they splurge and they go into this fashion house,
Yeah.
and they come out looking so Italian elegant, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah.
Nothing like it in terms of Armani or somebody else.
Sure.
You're there. And so we have this lovely hat, and we have this and we have this nice belled skirt, and then Clark Griswold is in this smoking jacket with his fedora, and so it's enjoyable from that point of view as well. And all's well that ends well, as they say in this film.
Just out of curiosity, have you ever traveled overseas? Did you go to Europe?
No, the only time I've been out of country is to go to Canada. I went to Montreal,
Which is kind of like Paris, right? It's got a French
right. In
flavor.
fact, I had this lady who came up to me and wanted to sell me something, and I thought I can get out of this. I said no parlez-vous français, and she did. She started speaking English. So I'm done. I can't get out of it. So I have to say no, thank you.
Well, if someone was interested to go on the same journey that the Griswolds did in this particular adventure, they would need a passport.
Right.
How do you get one of those?
Well, if y'all remember at the very beginning, there's these passports, and they look exactly like passports look today. And guess what? The library is doing passports now.
Great.
We think we're helping to fill a niche here in Poplar Bluff. The post office does passports. The courthouse does passports. But no one does them in the evenings and weekends. And guess who's open on evenings and weekends?
Very nice.
We're thinking we're helping people out by providing another service, just like with our story times, having those in the evening, but providing another service. Also, in other ways to get passports, there are different things that we didn't know about passports. One is, did you know that passport people are the first line of defense for terrorism and for human kidnapping, our slave trade?
Really?
Yeah, and what it is that is the first step that people, because they have to follow all these rules, it's for protection of our children, and it's protection of our country as well. But also in Missouri, some of you may not be aware, is the Missouri driver's license does not fit travel requirements for flying for going on a military base or federal installments. So as a result, and Missouri got a dispensation till next fall, and you can get an alternative ID in Missouri in order to make it fit. But then your passport could also work. And you can get a passport card for $35.
Might as well just do that. And you have it for how long? It's good for like 10 years, isn't it?
It is.
Okay.
Or 8 years is what it is.
Okay.
So it's good for 8 years. And you be able to, and all I do is tell people is that there are rules we have to follow. We did have to take tests, and we had to be trained. But always remember that if you're wanting a passport for your child, both parents must be present, regardless of your current marriage status.
Okay.
Unless there's another legal guardian. And then a lot of people say, my husband's got to be here, but he just signed the check. I'm sorry, both parents have to be present.
Good to know.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, they're hearing this and they might want to call, later on this week at the library. How do they get a hold of you guys?
573-686-8639 and just ask for passport assistance, and somebody will help you.
There's Sue. I'm Chris. We've got more reviews coming up next. A Best Picture winner is coming your way right here on the Screen Team.